Let us see the part B of theorem, yesterday's theorem. Uniqueness. We assume that y belongs to capital M and y naught belongs to capital M. Both satisfy norm of x minus y is equal to delta and norm of x minus y naught is equal to delta. That is, these both are infimum. Distance between these two elements x and y is the infimum, and also x and y naught, this is also infimum. And show that then y naught is equal to y. We show that y naught is equal to y. By the parallelogram equality, we have norm of y minus y naught whole square. Consider norm of y minus y naught whole square. Now y minus y naught square, norm of y minus y naught square is equal to norm of y minus x minus y naught plus x. Added and subtracted x. There is an adjustment. In next step is equal to 2 into norm of y minus x square plus 2 into norm of y naught minus x square minus norm of y minus x plus y naught minus x square. This is by parallelogram equality. Parallelogram equality says that norm of x plus y square plus norm of x minus y square is equal to 2 into in bracket norm of x square plus norm of y square. By using this parallelogram equality, we get this step. Bracket मध्ये लिहा तिथे. Is equal to 2 into delta square plus 2 into delta square minus 2 square into norm of 1 by 2 into y minus y plus y naught minus x whole square. Because norm of x minus y is equal to delta and norm of x minus y naught is equal to delta. On the right hand side, 1 by 2 into y plus y naught belongs to capital M. So that norm of 1 by 2 into y plus y naught minus x greater than or equal to delta. This implies that the right hand side is less than or equal to 2 into delta square plus 2 into delta square minus 4 into delta square is equal to 0. We put delta on right hand side. We have norm of 1 by 2 into y plus y naught minus x. That is 1, 2, 3. Third term on the right hand side. This is greater than or equal to delta. So that norm of y minus y naught whole square greater than or equal to 2 into delta square plus 2 into delta square minus 2 square into delta square. So it gets cancelled and it becomes 0. 2 into delta square plus 2 into delta square, it becomes 4 into delta square minus 2 square into delta square means 4 into delta square, and this 2 becomes cancelled. This implies that the right hand side is less than or equal to 0. Hence we must have the inequality norm of y minus y naught less than or equal to 0, because norm of y minus y naught square less than or equal to 0 we proved. But clearly norm of y minus y naught is greater than or equal to 0 by property of norm. So that we must have equality y naught is equal to y. Hence proved. You all read and write this theorem carefully. Next. The next theorem depends on subspaces. An inner product space is a vector space. Subspace of an inner product space is its subspace and inner product restricted on it. So subspace of an inner product space, so it is also inner product space. In previous theorem, that is the theorem that we proved now, called as minimizing vector, let X be an inner product space, M a non-empty set, a convex subset which is complete. That is, it is a subspace which is complete in the metric induced by the inner product. It is a subset. In this theorem, it is given that M is a convex subset, not subspace, subset given in the metric induced by the inner product. Then for every given element X belongs to capital X, there exists a unique Y belongs to M such that delta is equal to infimum of norm of X minus Y bar, infimum over Y bar belongs to M is equal to norm of X minus Y. In this theorem, we had X as the inner product space and M as a subset, convex subset. Now let X be complete subspace of Y and X belongs to capital X fix. Then Z is equal to X minus Y is orthogonal to Y. Y is a subspace of capital X. And M is subset of Y, actually subspace of Y. M is contained in Y and Y is contained in X. Z is equal to X minus Y is orthogonal to Y. We have to prove this. We have seen definition of orthogonality. An element X of an inner product space capital X is said to be orthogonal to an element small y belongs to capital X if inner product of X comma Y is equal to 0. We write X is orthogonal to Y. For any two subsets A comma B, capital A comma capital B, subset of capital X, we write small x is orthogonal to capital A if small x is orthogonal to small a for all small a belongs to capital A, and capital A set is orthogonal to capital B if an element small a is orthogonal to an element small b for all A belongs to capital A and all B belongs to capital B. Now, if small z is orthogonal to capital Y, this is what we have to prove. So we let first z is not orthogonal to capital Y. There should be a y1 belongs to capital Y such that inner product of z comma y1 is not equal to 0. by definition of orthogonality. Clearly, y1 not equal to 0, because if any element in the pair in the inner product is 0, then inner product becomes 0. Clearly, y1 not equal to 0, since otherwise inner product will be 0. Furthermore, for any scalar alpha, consider norm of z minus alpha into y1 whole square is equal to inner product of z minus alpha into y1 comma z minus alpha into y1. This is by definition of norm on inner product space. Norm of x square is equal to inner product square root of inner norm of x square is equal to inner product of x comma x, and norm of x is equal to square root of inner product of x comma x. Now by using the properties of inner product, we get next step is equal to inner product z comma z minus alpha bar into inner product z comma y1 minus alpha into in bracket inner product y1 comma z minus alpha bar into inner product y1 comma y1. Now inner product of z comma y1, it is beta. Inner product of y1 comma z, it is conjugate of inner product of z comma y1 by property. It is beta bar minus alpha bar into inner product of y1 comma y1 as it is. Now if we choose alpha bar is equal to yes, parallelogram यूज केलाय वरच्या स्टेप मध्ये. If we choose alpha bar is equal to beta bar upon inner product of y1 comma y1, then the term in bracket, that is the third term on right hand side, alpha into in bracket beta bar minus alpha bar into inner product y1 comma y1. If we choose alpha bar is equal to beta bar upon inner product y1 comma y1, then inner product of y1 comma y1 in numerator and denominator, so they become cancelled. So it remains beta bar minus beta bar equal to 0. So third term becomes 0. We have norm of z is equal to norm of x minus y is equal to delta. Here, in the previous theorem, we proved that there exists y such that delta is equal to infimum over y bar belongs to m norm of x minus y bar is equal to norm of x minus y. You give this equation number anything, equation number I or 3 to this, and from that equation we get norm of z is equal to norm of x minus y is equal to delta. Because we have given in this lemma that we are proving now z is equal to x minus y, and we are showing that it is orthogonal to y. Norm of x minus y is equal to delta. So norm of z is equal to delta. So that we have now norm of z minus alpha into y1 square is equal to norm of z square. Inner product z comma z is equal to norm of z square minus mod of beta square upon inner product y1 comma y1 less than delta square. We have choose alpha bar is equal to beta bar upon inner product y1 comma y1. In second term also we have to put this value. So it become beta into beta bar upon inner product y1 comma y1. But beta into beta bar is equal to mod of beta whole square. Norm of z is equal to delta. And norm of z square minus this term. So this is less than norm of z square. Both the terms are greater than or equal to 0. We have inner product of y1 comma y1 greater than or equal to 0 by property of inner product. For any element x, inner product of x comma x is greater than or equal to 0. So right hand side, both terms are greater than or equal to 0. And for two positive numbers, a minus b is less than a. तुम्हाला फास्ट होत आहे का? फास्ट होत असेल तर सांगायचं. काही समजत नसेल तर क्विकली सांगायचं. स्लो जर पाहिजे असेल तर तसं सांगायचं. एखादं नाव घेऊन आवाज आहे स्लो.
फास्ट नहीं होता है मैडम.
ठीक है, ओके. Norm of z minus alpha into y1 whole square less than delta square. But this is impossible because we have z minus alpha into y1 is equal to x minus y2. Where y2 is equal to y plus alpha into y1 belongs to capital Y. So on right hand side of this, it is x minus y minus alpha into y1. Z is equal to x minus y. And plus and minus alpha into y1 or minus alpha into y1 on both sides. Z minus alpha into y1 and on right hand side x minus y plus alpha into y1. And minus side take common. In bracket becomes y plus alpha into y1. And y plus alpha into y1 denoted by y2. Z minus alpha into y1 is equal to x minus y2. But y2 belongs to capital Y. So that norm of z minus alpha into y1 greater than or equal to delta by definition of delta. Here small y belongs to capital M. M is subset of capital Y. Small x belongs to capital X. Definition of delta says that delta is equal to infimum of norm of x minus y bar. Y bar belongs to capital M and x belongs to capital X. Here we have z is equal to x minus y, where y belongs to capital Y. So we have here put the value of z in this norm. Put here x minus y and minus sign take common. So in bracket becomes x minus y plus alpha into y1, which belong to capital Y. And so x minus an element in y, it becomes, and it is greater than or equal to delta because delta is infimum. We have a y element such that x minus norm of x minus y is equal to delta, and element y1 norm of x minus y is equal to delta. We assumed. But norm of z minus alpha into y1 greater than or equal to delta by definition of delta. Hence, number 5 cannot hold and the lemma is proved. In number 5, we assume that inner product z comma y1 not equal to 0, and we got norm of z minus alpha into y1 greater than or equal to delta. And here we got norm of z minus alpha into y1 less than delta. So this is a contradiction, and hence our assumption is wrong. Our assumption is wrong that inner product of z comma y1 is equal to 0. And due to that wrong assumption, we got the third term in this step equal to 0. So that by choosing the value of alpha bar, we got finally norm of z minus alpha into y1 less than delta. But norm of z minus alpha into y1 greater than or equal to delta by definition of delta. And this is contradiction. So that we can't assume inner product of z comma y1 is equal to 0. Proved. Theorem is proved. Hence it is proof that z is equal to x minus y is orthogonal to every element in y. Any element y1 in y. So that z is orthogonal to capital Y. Next, we see a definition. Direct sum. A vector space capital X is said to be direct sum of two subspaces y and z of capital X, written as x is equal to y direct sum of z. If for each small x belongs to capital X has a unique representation x is equal to y plus z. Y belongs to capital Y and Z belongs to capital Z. In this case, we say that X is direct sum of subspaces Y and Z. Then Z is called an algebraic complement of capital Y in capital X and vice versa. And capital Y comma capital Z is called complementary pair of subspaces in capital X. तुम्हाला 5th चॅप्टरची PDF पाहिजे का?
हो मॅम.
ठीक आहे. I will give you.
रेफरन्स बुकची PDF आहे ना मॅम?
Yes. दोन मिनिटात हे स्टॉप होऊन जाईल मीटिंग. तुम्ही डबल जॉईन करा. 2 मिनिटांमध्ये हे मीटिंग स्टॉप होऊन जाईल, त्यानंतर तुम्ही डबल जॉईन करा. आपण एक थेरम घेऊ. छोटासा थेरम आहे, आज होतो आपला. Theorem on direct sum. Let capital Y be any closed subspace of a Hilbert space capital H. H is a Hilbert space. It is complete inner product space. Then H is equal to direct sum of Y and Z, where Z is equal to Y complement. It means that Z is orthogonal complement of Y. Before that theorem, you have to write the definition of orthogonal complement. I will give you the definition. Y and Z are the subspaces said to be orthogonal complement of each other if for any element in Y, it is orthogonal to any element in Z. Also, for any subspace Y of Hilbert space, its complement is the set of all elements Z belong to that Hilbert space such that Z is orthogonal to set Y. It means that it contains complement of Y contains such elements such that for any elements in them, it is orthogonal to every element in Y. That is, inner product of that element with any element in Y should be 0. Let Y be any closed subspace of a Hilbert space capital H. Then H is equal to Y direct sum of Z.